So then, yeah, in the story, yeah, there's this idea of his education is incomplete. He can only go through a few classes and then he has to return home. And then you might say he's like a failure, but as you're pointing out, he has kind of a good spirit. He has a spirit of kind of going forward and trusting in his luck, trusting in in who he is or whatnot.
Hmm. And actually, if I could say real quick, I do think that the fact that that the money was not enough to cover the classes is a further sign that at least the story is trying to tell us the father's way of being in the world is not how you thrive and find success, because the son going to school and finishing the school and then having enough money to take care of the father was all part of the father's plan. So the father had this great idea of like, oh, well, I'll work hard, I'll put my son through school, he'll take care of me. But something about the father's way of doing it, like, did he not know? He doesn't seem mad at his son, like, oh, son, you wasted all my money. He's like, oh, wasn't enough. He wasn't enough for you. Now, sadly, you're back home stuck with me in the mud of our poverty. Um, and and so, but the whole idea of that came from him. So it was like he had this idea, but didn't have the spirit to animate it fully.
Mm.
Um, and I think that speaks to the spirit in the tree, but we can get to that when we get to that.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, his way was not enough, and his son is able to kind of fulfill that later. I think
Mhm.
I wrote to you in the email that this reminds me of Jack and the Beanstalk. It's like the way they're going is not enough, and then so the Jack has to do something seemingly crazy that doesn't make any sense to their idea to their experience. So they haven't
Mhm.
developed those senses yet, I guess you could kind of say. And then yeah, and then there is an upward kind of or upward or outward movement away from the normal world of work and toil into the mysterious, dangerous and risk taking, but then, with a reward at the end.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the father, when he comes back to work with the father kind of says, "No, this kind of work is too hard for you." And even though the son's not trained in it, he is able to do it some, not quite all day, but he is able to kind of work hard and try the old way. And to me, that was sort of meaningful that he's not aloof in any way. He's not like, well, I'm in a different class now. I'm a student, or I have a different future set out for me. No, he's still willing to I look at that as like do what's necessary or try what's in front of you, before
Mm.
you sort of reject it, give something a good try.
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah, because it shows his willingness to open his experience to the father's experience or the father's world, and not, like you said, not hold himself aloof. Whereas the father doesn't seem to be able to open himself to his son's experience, because
Yeah.
the father keeps saying, oh, you'll find it too difficult. You're not used to hard work. You won't be able to do it. And I only have one axe. What are we going to do? Like
Yeah.
again, there's that stress. And the son's like, just go borrow an axe, Dad. It's cool. I can cut trees.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like he's got that sort of like, oh, I can handle it
Yeah.
attitude. And he's not, whereas the father is like, oh, I can't handle it, and therefore I have to work harder than I can handle.
Right. Yeah.
And yet ends up with no resources.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.